Morning, my
Go.
brother. How are you
Good morning.
feeling? You feeling good? Is
I'm
your
doing
ankle all
well.
right?
It's okay, thankfully, but not Tyler Hero's ankle is not
Where is
okay.
he?
But it could have been worse. So,
There you go. You froze for a moment
oh,
there.
okay. You see
There you
me
go.
now? You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
me?
Looks like your ankle froze for a moment there.
Yeah. My ankle's intact, thankfully, but Tyler Hero's is not. But he avoided the worst, so not all bad news for him in the Heat.
Are you sure? He said he heard crunches and cracks, bro. That shit don't sound good.
Does not sound good, but the MRI doesn't lie, right? I was
I mean,
when he's when
when your foot sounds like Rice Krispies,
yeah.
that's not good,
No,
bro.
when he
You
said
know,
that,
it's like
my
you
eyes,
snap,
yeah.
crackle, and pop. Oh, yeah, that's not good.
When he said that, I think a lot of people got scared, right? And the way it looked, I mean, his ankle was like not like parallel
Ooh,
to the ground. It was a tough, tough turn of the
yeah,
ankle.
yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation. It happens in basketball. You land on somebody's foot, you're jumping. You land on somebody's foot, you turn the ankle. But it looks like he'll be out for the next at least 2 weeks. I would imagine probably a couple more. I think 4 to 6 weeks is like the average timetable for a grade 2 ankle sprain. So I would say maybe 3 weeks is probably the soonest he'll come back. But
Yeah.
the
Well,
good news is
that's
he'll
two
be back
weeks to
probably
start.
next month. In the next month, yeah,
Right, right. Right. 3 to 4 weeks because
yeah,
2 weeks is to get reevaluated, and then you got to
exactly,
start playing on the ankle, and all that
yeah.
soreness and all that.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be a
So
little bit,
and you got to be stable. You got to. Yeah, yeah. It'll be a month, I think, pretty
yeah,
closer to a month. For him, unfortunately. And dude, he what was it? They stepped on him before, right? And so he left for a moment to come back to then get injured. I mean, it's like he's the young version of Teron Armstead without the mileage, basically. He it's either he gets injured or he doesn't have luck to stay healthy.
yeah. The la- the last two
I'm saying
injuries,
because when you land on somebody's foot, that's not your injury prone. No luck, bro. None.
yeah, yeah. The last two injuries, I wouldn't say it's because he's injury prone. That's just freak
Froze
accidents. I
again.
mean,
Oh, there you
you see me? Sorry, it's freezing on my end too. I'm sorry. It's this hotel internet. Um, the last two injuries have been freak accidents. Diving for a loose ball in Milwaukee, and then now just you're making a play he makes all the time, jumping for a floater, and he lands on somebody's foot. It's not like he's these soft tissue injuries where he's straining a hamstring or a growing, or he's that it's that type of injury. It's these freak things that are it's just bad luck for him, unfortunately, for him and the Heat.
Yeah, man. I feel bad for him, but that's his bugaboo for me more than anything else. I know people were focused on his, offensive tear that he's on, but it's not like I ever doubted he can't score. I mean, offensively, my challenge for him is more about being a better complete player, grow more like Duncan did, and then more than anything else is availability. To me, that's always been the ultimate killer of his career is availability, and that's the sad part. Now you're going to lose him, for a month. So where is Caleb at this point? Because if you're going to lose him, then I need a lot of Caleb.
Mhm. Well, what we know is Caleb did not take part in shoot around in Memphis. He's on the trip. Um, they're going to practice today in Atlanta. We'll see if he practices. I talked to Caleb a little bit after the Memphis game. He said he's feeling better. He was in the locker room. He was putting up shots after shoot around, so he's doing some stuff. But he was off to the side during the actual shoot around as the team worked. So I wouldn't expect him to be back in Atlanta just because I don't think one practice is enough after missing this much time. But the fact that he's on the trip is encouraging. So I think it's hard to give a timetable, but I would say I wouldn't be surprised if maybe by the end of this trip, maybe at the end in Charlotte, or maybe when the team returns
A
home
bad.
middle of next week. But he still was not taking part in shoot around a few days ago, so that's not promising.
Yeah. It's by the way, it's a bad connection. So then I would imagine that if I know he's young, but Spo will do it if you're mature enough, and it seems to me like he's mature enough. So are we going to see more minutes from Jaime Jaquez?
I think so. I don't think Jaime will start because you're going to need shooting in there in Tyler Hero's spot, and that's where Duncan probably comes in. I think Duncan probably starts just like he did in the second half in Memphis. You just need the spacing around Bam and Jimmy. And Jaime, he's been very good, but the one thing he hasn't been good at is making threes. He made the big one in Memphis, but I think he's shooting like 25% on threes for the season. So that to me doesn't fit around Bam and Jimmy. But I would expect Jaime to play, especially if Caleb is still out, Jaime to play a bigger role off the bench in more minutes.
Yeah, and by the way, that allows him to also get in a shooting groove. It's not like I don't think we have a large sample size of his three-point shooting.
Right.
I think you have to give him more time and more minutes and more shots so he can kind of get in that groove and build the confidence up too. It's not like he can't do it. He can do it. Obviously, you needed him in the clutch, and he came through in the clutch. So, yeah. So the sumbitch has it in him, bro. You just look at him. I mean, you see it. It just there is no fear in that kid. So if you're not going to give me Caleb, and if he's not ready physically yet, then who are we going to? And I would imagine that Jaquez is the next guy outside of obviously Duncan. And by the way, kudos to Duncan again, man. I am just really proud of him, the way he's made himself a better player. Yeah, man. It's so cool to watch. Really.
Yeah, and you can't expect Duncan to do what Tyler did. Obviously, Tyler is a unique offensive player on this team. He's, like you said, probably the best pure scorer on the roster. But Duncan gives you the floor spacing. He now can create off the dribble. He's done that repeatedly now the first few weeks of the season. He's creating off the dribble. So he gives you some of what Tyler Hero gave you. But to me, he's the cleanest fit to replace Tyler in that starting lineup. And he started many times before. He was a full-time starter a few years ago. So I think I would be surprised if it's not Duncan starting in Tyler's spot tomorrow in Atlanta.
Okay. Is this a Marriott, by the way?
It is. It is. I don't know why it's so bad.
Wow.
My internet's been fine. Yeah.
Normally they have pretty good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know. This is the first time. I apologize.
It's terrible.
I'm sorry.
Well, well, you weren't doing video. That's the thing. Doing video is a lot different than surfing on the web for, whatever you're doing there and in the hotel room. You know what I'm saying? So it's you go to the ESPN page, and then doing video is a whole different monster. So it has to be a little heavier. What's your prediction for tomorrow against the Sixers?
It's Atlanta, the Hawks. I'm in Atlanta.
The Hawks. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Heat should beat the Hawks, right? But if the Heat are bad on offense again, they're fifth worst offense in the league right now this season. The Hawks have been decent this year. I think they won last night again. I think they're 6-2 or 5-2.
41 points
on the road.
Right?
Yeah. So without Tyler, it's going to be tough to keep up with the Hawks offense, I think. The Heat are going to have to put together a really good defensive effort. They're going to have to win behind defense while Tyler's out and kind of muck up games. If they can do that, they have a shot, but it's not going to be an easy one. They're going to have to play a lot better than they did in Memphis.
Yeah, and you don't have Caleb to help stop Trae.
Yeah.
So that's not good either.
Yeah.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang. Catch his work there at the Miami Herald. Anthony, as always, thank you, my brother. Be safe in your travels there. Enjoy Atlanta.
Sorry about the internet, Big O. Have a good weekend.
It's all good. You got it. There you go. Anthony Chiang and Marriott, get your crap together, bro. We need better internet there, Marriott. Yeah, man. Maybe it's an ATL thing. Maybe they're too loaded over there.
T-Mobile allocated like all their Wi-Fi to Vegas for the F1.
It's probably what it is. Yeah, now they're all lowering their prices. The stuff that they were charging $7,000, they're charging $1,000 for at F1. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, led by renowned Chief Medical Executive John Uribe, combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic foot, ankle, trauma, joint replacement, spine, hand, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information.
This is the Big O Show.